Hello and a very warm welcome to my dearest students in today's class. Do you find it hard to keep up with the ever-changing international relations, specifically bilateral relations and multilateral relations? In this specific series of classes, we will try to uncover the bilateral as well as multilateral relations that India has with many countries. As with the help of the pig beside me, you can see the flag of India and Bhutan. So today we are going to talk about India and Bhutan. First of all, let us try to solve this particular question, and thereafter we will understand the theoretical or answer part of it as well. Two things would be achieved from this. First, you will get accustomed to how prelims work, the mechanics of prelims. Other than that, you will also understand the relationship India has with Bhutan. So, consider the following statements with reference to Bhutan. Bhutan shares a border with 4 Indian states. It became a constitutional monarchy in 2010. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? Now, I will give you some time to solve it. Just understand and visualize where Bhutan is situated. It's a small country and it is to the south of China as well. So, let us see first of all, with the help of map only we can understand it. This is Bhutan. Bhutan has a border with Sikkim, with West Bengal, Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, and here is China. The region is Tibet, of course. So, Bhutan shares a border with 1, 2, 3 and 4 Indian states. That makes the first statement to be correct. Then comes the second part. It became a constitutional monarchy in 2010 or 2010. Actually, before it became a constitutional monarchy, it was headed by a monarch. So it wasn't having any sort of constitution. Then in 2008, a constitution was adopted and thereafter it became a constitutional monarchy, not in the year 2010, but in the year 2008. So it became a constitutional monarchy only in the year 2008 and it is there since 18th of July 2008. Then the king of Bhutan is the head of the state and the executive power lies with the Council of Ministers or Lengge Zutsong, and the Prime Minister is the head of it. Then the legislative powers is vested with a bicameral legislature, and in 2008 it actually adopted its first ever modern constitution. It's a democratic multi-party system. Through this constitution only, this was made available that it became a democratic multi-party system. Next goes like, arrange the following developments between India and Bhutan in chronological order. First is establishment of diplomatic relations. Second is first trade and transit agreement. And third is treaty of friendship and cooperation signed. So we have to choose the correct answer using the following codes. See, for the first time ever when treaty of friendship and cooperation was signed, it was in the year 1949. And thereafter it was revised in the year 2007. So remember that first it was in 1949, the first ever. It got revised in 2007. So first will be of course third. Then establishment of diplomatic relationship happened in 1968. Alright. And thereafter the first trade and transit agreement was signed in 1972. So that makes the first one to be the third. That means, and in the chronological order, first instance that took place, it's third, then establishment of diplomatic relations, and finally trade and transit agreement. So 312 is going to be the correct answer. Here it is. Now, according to Article 2 of the Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation, India will not interfere with the internal matters of Bhutan, although it will guide the foreign policy of Bhutan. So remember that, Article 2 of the Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation. Then diplomatic relations got established in 1968 and the first trade and transit agreement was signed in 1972. Also, we talk about many aspects from there as well. See, this class has been divided into certain parts. First the basics, then we will move on towards the hydropower projects. Wherever India has a good cooperation with Bhutan, we will cover that. So then hydropower projects, let's talk about them. The Jal Dhaka agreement is related to the commencement of hydropower projects between which of these countries? The obvious answer here is going to be India and Bhutan. So this agreement, Jal Dhaka agreement, it was signed to establish a project on the Jaldaka River. Here is the Jaldaka River. It rises in Sikkim. Alright, it rises in Sikkim and it is a tributary of the Brahmaputra River, BP, Brahmaputra River. So here only we have the Jaldaka project. This agreement was signed in the year 1961, or we call it the Jaldaka Agreement. And this project, under this only we have a project which is developed on the Indian side of the Indo-Bhutan border. It has been developed in West Bengal. The major electricity which is generated through this project is exported to Bhutan. Alright. And other important projects also are there, such as in 1987, Bhutan got its first mega power project, and this was the Chuka hydropower project. And then it was fully funded by the government of India. 60% was grant in aid and 40% was at a loan. And the interest rate was very low. It was just 5%, which could be payable in the next 15 years. Next question, consider the following statements. Consider the following statements with respect to India and Bhutan hydropower project only. India has so far constructed 4 hydropower projects in Bhutan. The 600 megawatt Kolongchu hydropower project is the first ever joint venture between India and Bhutan. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? Yes, India has developed 4 hydropower projects in Bhutan. And if we talk about the Kolongchu hydropower project, this is the first ever joint venture project to be signed between India and Bhutan, and this was done in the year 2020. The project will be completed in the 5 years time. So from 2020 to 2025 it is supposed to be completed. So I told you that 4 hydropower projects have been established. First is the Kiruchu, then we have Tala, Chuka and Mangdechu. India has funded through a 70% and a 30% grant to Bhutan. 70% is loan and 30% is grant. Then in 2020, India and Bhutan signed a joint venture agreement for Kolongchu project, and this is to be completed in the next 5 years from 2020 onwards. And this was done between Bhutan's Druk Green Power Corporation and India's Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam Limited, if it is asked in your preliminary examination. It is a run of the river project. That means the normal course of the river is not disturbed. A canal is or a channel is developed, and in that turbines are fitted, and then it takes the advantage of the running water. That is why it is known as run of the river project. And it has been developed over the Kolongchu River in the Trashiyangtse district in eastern Bhutan. So these are pure prelims fact. Next, this is a connectivity project. Now project Dantak was established in which of the following years? 1957, 1959, 1960, 1961. The correct answer here is 1961. And this project was developed during His Majesty the Third King of Bhutan and Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. It was established on April 24, 1961. The importance of connectivity was explored in order to ensure that Bhutan becomes socially and economically independent. Also, it was to construct the pioneering motorable road in the Kingdom of Bhutan. This project was undertaken. Dantak completed the road connecting Samdrup Jongkhar to Trashigang in 1968, and in the same year, Thimphu was also connected to Fuan Soling by Dantak. So these are the certain examples. Next, trade and economic relations. Consider the following statement. India is Bhutan's largest trading partner. India has a significant trade surplus with Bhutan, and in 2021-2022, India accounted for about 80% of Bhutan's overall trade. So we have to select the statements which is or are correct. How many statements is or are correct? 1 statement only, 2 statements only, 3 only, none of the statements. All the 3 statements are definitely correct because India is a major trade partner for Bhutan. So let's talk about the facets of them as well. So as you see, this is the amount of trade that happened in 2014-15, 484 million US dollar. Then when it comes to 2021-22, it became 1.42 billion US dollar, and it almost tripled, as you can see. It accounted for about 80% of Bhutan's trade. India accounted for 80% of Bhutan's trade in 2021-22. India has a significant trade surplus with Bhutan. That makes the another statement to be correct. Now, in November 2021, the Indian government also formalized the opening of 7 new trade routes for Bhutan's bilateral trade. It also opened the market access for formal exports of 12 agri products. So this is our relationship with Bhutan when it comes to economic trade. Then we talk about defense cooperation. Consider the following statements. The Nathula Pass is situated to the east of Doklam Plateau. Doklam Plateau is a plateau which is eyed by China because it's a strategic point. From here, we can see Chumbi Valley. So, Doklam Plateau is a tri-junction for which a standoff also occurred in 2017, and it is a tri-junction. So, first you should know that India deployed its military training team in Bhutan to train the Bhutanese security forces in 1961. So, we have to select the statements which is or are correct. If we have to talk about the first statement, we'll have to look at the map. Keep in mind, we do not at all endorse this part of the map because it's wrong. It's not the Indian narrative. Here is Nathula and here is Doklam. If we talk about Nathula, it is not to the east. Okay, it is actually to the southwest of Doklam. So that makes the first statement incorrect. All right, this is how you do it by visualizing it on the map. Then yes, India deployed its military training team in Bhutan to train the Bhutanese soldiers in 1961. This is definitely correct. So only 2. The second statement is correct. And this was done, the stationing of the team from India, this was done on Bhutanese request. So as per Bhutanese request, India deployed its military training team in Bhutan to train the Bhutanese security forces, and since then it has been doing the same. It is responsible for Bhutanese security and border management, threat perception, coordination of Bhutan border entry exit points, sharing of real-time information. This all is being done since a very long period of time on a regular basis. So that is why wherever it is asked that why did India participate in the 2017 Doklam standoff, you can easily answer this. Now, regional groupings. Which of the following countries is not a part of SAARC? Afghanistan, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Bhutan. Thailand is not a part of SAARC. Afghanistan, Sri Lanka and Bhutan are a part of SAARC. SAARC stands for South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. This was established on 8th of December 1985 by signing the Dhaka Charter, SAARC Charter in Dhaka basically. Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka are a part of it. The secretariat is in Kathmandu, Nepal, and it was set up in 1987 on 17th of January. So this is the manner in which we are going to cover all the important bilateral and multilateral relations India has in a very similar manner. We are going to do that. So for the PDF, you can come to my Telegram channel. It's Pooja Dwivedi StudyIQ. If you have any question, you can also talk to me on Instagram. All right. Thank you so much for watching.